The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Wednesday in the Rift.
Is it really?
We begin with our Captain COVID or Commander COVID. We'll make them. We'll
give me an increase in rank.
Fura COVID, whatever we want to call them. But with CJ with the latest update on the COVID.
Well, thank you, Chip. It's very interesting to see your counts. So yesterday, the mayor reported that we have 3 new positive cases of COVID in Fall River and no new fatalities. Now, the interesting thing was about his report was he didn't give us the count, which I loved. He just said 3 new cases, so he didn't give us the count. I had to go searching it, and thankfully, Sarah Lapointe, who is the mayor's special assistant and media person, sent a count of 1,540 cases of COVID have been identified in Fall River. But she didn't put down the number of deaths. Now, if the deaths are the same that they were the day before, we're at the 85 or 86 margin. So it will be interesting to see. 85 mark. So we have 85 deaths in Fall River. Statewide, we have 105,885. Total deaths is 7,665. And Bristol County cases is 7,940. Then the increases are low. The problem is the hospitalizations are high, which is something that people aren't looking at. We're having more hospitalizations here in Massachusetts, although the case numbers are lower. So it's interesting to see how this is working out. Now, if you look at Florida, Florida is looking at 2,000 cases a day, and so much so that Miami and other communities are closing down again. They're starting to close things down. So what are we going to look at here in Massachusetts as we start to reopen things? Are we going to go back to closing things down if we have a spike again? I'm not sure. So far, the governor's been very cautious on opening up anything. So let's see how beneficial that may be or not be to the state. It'll make for an interesting time.
Well, that opens up a whole can of worms for me because, again, we got politicians with their heads so far up their derrieres. They can't analyze stuff objectively. They're looking apples and oranges. Florida is a place where they went bananas. They're all over the beaches. There was no social distancing. They didn't abide by anything. So obviously they're going to have a higher incidence of transmission. See, the thing is, you have to put things in perspective. Just like now, they're trying to bury the story that they killed half the people who died in the COVID epidemic in nursing homes, with guys like Cuomo mandating that they put infected people into an area where the most sensitive population resides. So this is all government incompetency and government control. I'm glad the special assistant gave half the figures. If she gave all of them, he'd have to give her a pay raise. Here's another great job. That's what we have a special assistant for, because the mayor can't add 3 to the number we had the day before. So this is all, and that won't be one of the jobs they'll threaten to eliminate if we don't get the money we need to run the city. It'll be public safety and education. So all these assistants and special assistants that we never had before, they live in infamy forever. Every political job that's ever been created virtually never goes away because they just filter into the system and become part of the foundation of our government, and they last forever. We get rid of the people who are necessary, the people who collect your bills, the people who protect your lives and property, and the people who educate you. So am I a little upset? Yeah. You got some pictures, CJ, to show that. We'll segue about, this is a great segue into how people's behavior influences the COVID virus and how it's transmitted. I called you yesterday and told you about a 15 or 20 people at BCC running around a basketball court playing basketball.
Yep.
So this morning when I took the dog up, yeah, there you go. There's a picture of only one corner that I took this morning. There are 30, I counted them because I'm a pain sometimes. There are 35 bottles, 1 can, 2 bags of McDonald's food, and a pizza box. And can you show the other picture?
Yep.
The other picture is the barrel. There is a barrel directly outside the gate. That is the gate for the basketball court. So they had to walk by the barrel, and they left all their crap on the basketball court. 20 people in each other's t-shirts, sniffing each other, guarding them, playing full court basketball. And why Bristol Community College chose to chain the gates open and have nets. They're enabling these people who are scofflaws to continue to violate the law. We walk around Fall River, but they're going to walk into your home and arrest you somewhere if you walk into a place without a mask. They had a judge in Massachusetts, I forgot the name of the town already, probably a mental block. But they're going to close the gym owner. They fined him $7,000 already because he's opening up a gym trying to make a living. They showed a picture of the gym. The people in the gym are social distancing. One of the gym members said this is the only thing that's keeping them sane during this thing. Yet a judge ruled that the city or town can change his locks, chain him out of his own business, and basically destroy the man's life. We have to do everything the government tells us, or we're subject to government persecution. But all the millennials and all the demonstrators that left wing, they're protecting. So you tell me there's not a double standard here. This is reverse discrimination. Law-abiding citizens get nothing. And now the people at BCC who clean this up are going to penalize everybody else because then they'll lock the place up again so nobody can go on the basketball court because they don't enforce anything. They chain the gates open. And look at the mess. And shame on them for enabling these people to do it. They've got a whole bunch of people running around that campus maintaining it. You know, somebody should be told, they should be told, if people are there and they're on those courts, they should be told to leave. And if they don't leave, call the police. Because they're going to arrest you or I if we do something. I mean, if you walk into Walmart without a mask and give somebody a finger now, they're going to have the police down there so fast, your head will spin. So this irritates me.
Well, the worst part about it is BCC has their own police force with the power of arrest. So they have their own police force. So why they're not enforcing this, I don't know. And, you know, in clear deference, BCC does assist us with the production of our show, and they do air it for us on local cable television. So we do have to disclose that. It's important, just so you know that we're not being biased.
we may not be here much longer after Mike. But to me, that's irrelevant. I appreciate the fact that they help us, but the reality is they're allowing violations of the law. And I mean, okay, maybe they didn't see them. I don't think so. That game lasted a pretty long time. They end up with 35 bottles, water bottles, and pizza boxes. It looked like they had an outing yesterday at that, and I'm sure they'll be back there today. So this is a problem. If the laws are there, and look, I understand the police. I don't blame BCC if they saw it and ignored it. I don't know if the BCC police want to walk onto a basketball court with 15 idiots that are already disobeying the law and getting into something, because I can understand how police are gun shy today. Because every time a police officer does something, there's going to be an
No, I agree. I agree. It's, you know,
I've got to wear a mask. I've got to do things. I maintain social distancing, and I can't go to a gym. I can't go to my gym. I haven't been to my gym in months. And I got these pinheads playing playing basketball in each other's jersey. But I can't go to a gym and get on every other treadmill or every third treadmill, even if I have to make an appointment. And as the guy said from that other gym, it helps maintain your sanity and maintain it reduces your stress level. And I'll tell you, when I see stuff like this and I hear your statistics, Florida, well, let's run a tape of the Florida beaches when they reopened Florida. They were on the beaches like idiots even before they opened the beaches.
right.
So, look, all these figures, they're not accurate. They're skewed. You have to take the whole picture. You can't look at a single tree. You have to look at the whole forest. Were these people social distancing? Were these people? No, they weren't. Florida, it was notorious. And as you said on a previous show, the problem with many of these places are that they don't go back and just infect each other. After that basketball game, those 15 or 20 pinheads, they went to whatever neighborhood they came from and interacted with people in stores and other places like that. And this is why you see massive spikes after they do stuff like this. It's because people are not following the rules. If people wore masks, wash their hands, we wouldn't see these spikes. And at least that's my opinion. I can't prove it, but I would say that it's a pretty damn good reason it doesn't. I mean, it seems logical. You're the expert in this, but it seems logical if you stay away from people, wash your hands, and are really particular about the way you handle stuff. But it's not only BC; it's all over the place. There's tennis courts the tennis nets are up at Maplewood Park. There's issues with Maplewood Park Little Leagues and stuff like that, and other things. And they're gonna, that's the problem with the people. This is the irony of this. They want to get rid of police because they believe people will do what they're told. They can't do what they're told for more than 32 seconds.
And that's with police in place.
And that's with police, exactly. So you don't think that you delusionary, bubble dwellers really believe that we can eliminate police departments and send social workers into these areas. And the irony, the double irony is that the areas they want to defund the police and get rid of them are the areas with the highest crime rates.
Right,
So,
exactly.
what do you think? The criminals are going to stop committing crimes? They're committing crimes with police. Take the police away. Get rid of the prisons. You people are all nitwits.
I guess so. Hey, you mentioned something about stores and businesses. Well, I'll tell you right now, the businesses are getting busy. I mean, Burlington, it's not Burlington Coat Factory anymore. Burlington here in Fall River had lines going through the store, out the door, and around to the back of the building for people waiting to get into Burlington to buy stuff. And the line to check out was almost 2 hours long. And again, these are people that are not maintaining social distancing in some cases. They're in a building that doesn't have, excellent ventilation. So what's going to happen? These are the problems that are going to create a second wave of the COVID virus. Whether you like it or not, this is what's going to happen. And I mean, you just look at what Beijing just did. Beijing just closed all their schools because of the second wave of the virus. So it's going to happen because people just can't understand that you've got to do what's necessary. I mean, is shopping so important that you had to have a line around the building? I don't think shopping's that important for a line to go around the building. It was just like when the restaurants opened. There were lines of people trying to get into the restaurants. And they said it was reservation only.
Yeah, you're right, CJ. And look, therein lies the rub, as the bard once said. It's people. This virus is far worse than it should have been because of people. The same people who think that we can operate without police because people are even if you do go shopping, look, I've been shopping throughout this pandemic. But when I went there, I followed the rules. They had the floors marked. I stayed away. Don't put your stuff on the belt until the belt is clear. I don't run up there and throw my groceries or whatever I'm buying on the belt while the other person's still getting his stuff. And you follow the rules. And fortunately, so far, I haven't done it. I wash my hands. I maintain distance. But it's people, as you said. You know, that's the like I said, the incredible irony of these idiots that are running around saying, you know, get rid of police, give us more social workers. Well, look at all the social workers we have now. Look how much they've done to help things. Have we cured our social ills? No. They get worse every year. The people need law and order. They need people to maintain crime, and these are the highest crime areas. But the fact is, look, I walked into a restaurant yesterday to pick up some food. And there's a very large conspicuous sign on the door that said, masks, please. So they even asked politely. And the floors are marked. Yet I walked in there, and there were 3 other people in there waiting for their order, and not one of them had a mask. Not hanging on their jaw, not on their ear, not even visible. I don't even think they had one on their person. But what are you going to do? They go in this. Are they going to throw customers out? I sympathize for these people. But the fact is that this is the problem. We can't have laws that we only enforce for only a segment of the population. The law is the law. And if we're going to have the law, we have to be able to, I've got to give Westport credit. In Westport, you walk into a store without a mask, they throw you out. I know a few people have got thrown out of stores in Westport.
At some stores in Fall River, if you're not wearing a mask, they ask you to leave. And I'm pretty sure I know which restaurant you went to yesterday because it was Tuesday. And shame on them because they should have told those customers, I'm sorry, if you don't have a mask on, you can't come in, and we can't serve you. There's an old saying that in many a restaurant, we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone.
Yeah, but the only problem we have with that scenario now is, didn't we just have a murder over social distancing?
Yes, we have.
Somebody was stabbed, and not the first one. The first murder, people are going nuts. They won't open the gyms for us to relieve our stress with exercise, but people are murdering each other. I don't blame these people. You're working in a restaurant. You're working for tips and minimum wage and tips, and somebody orders some food, and that owner's going to make money. And as much as you'd like to say something, is it worth being stabbed? They tell people who work in convenience stores, give them the money.
Yeah.
It's not worth getting shot. I mean, it's crazy now. But we don't need police. Remember that. The underlying theme here is we don't need police because we've proven it. We've had people stab somebody because they wouldn't social distance. We've had fights over masks and no masks by the masked people and unmasked people. Human nature, people, for the most part, are going to do what they want to do. They're going to hear what they want to hear and disregard the rest, as Simon and Garfunkel once said in their famous song, "The Boxer." But that's the whole key. The key is look at what we've got. Look at what we've got. We have a society that's fundamentally, lawless. Without police, it will become even more lawless. And anybody who wants to, you're going to send a social worker in with the police now. That's the new thing. Because there are some situations that are going to escalate, and they may not be a critical situation. Yeah, well, that's going to last until the first couple of social workers get shot.
True.
They're going to walk into a domestic, and some guy that's going to shoot his wife, shoot the social worker, and shoot at the cops. So the ridiculous. It's gone from the ridiculous to the sublime. Because
True.
anybody who has been in a critical situation, and I know you worked in a prison,
Oh yeah.
and you know how quickly a seemingly harmless situation can devolve into a critical situation.
That's right.
That situation, because what the police respond to, and that's one of the problems. There are some police officers, and there's no good in everything. There's no all good, all bad. That's a generalization that doesn't make any sense. The reality is that some of these people just can't handle situations where if their life is in jeopardy, they're going to take the first human instinct to protect their own life. So, but I'll tell you, it's getting so ridiculous with these people, and all you got to do is look around you. We can't even get people to not play basketball. The millennials don't care. Mommy and daddy will pay for their hospital bill, and they'll go back and they'll isolate themselves in their cellar with their Xbox.
I hear you. Hey, I got two items that I want to get to before we run out of time, and I just asked our host to please give me the clock. First is the school districts are facing steep cuts and layoffs after Mass state budget takes hit from COVID-19 closures. The Mass public schools could see layoffs at a rate that has not happened in decades as school budgets across the state are slashed. They're looking at 10% cuts in budgets for next year, and there's a $6 billion tax revenue shortfall.
Well, let's see how many administrators get laid off proportionally.
No, of course not. It's going to be teachers. And currently, pink slips have been issued by several school districts, including Franklin, Pittsfield, Randolph, Brookline, and Fairhaven. So a local, school district has issued a pink slip. Now, according to the contracts, they have to issue those pink slips before June 30th. So I'm wondering if Matt Malone and the Fall River School Committee are going to look at this and say, okay, we need to issue some pink slips. We need to prepare for this. And I remember the days when we used to issue pink slips every year. And then come September, we would call them all back. So I want to see what happens here. And I want to see if it happens in Fall River accordingly. So far, they've been slow on the uptake.
And item 2, is that the drugs?
No, item 2 was the fact that the Senate passed a bill for expanded voting in Massachusetts. And they just passed it. But here's the thing. They wanted to make it so that Bill Galvin, the Secretary of State, issued ballots to every registered voter in the Commonwealth without an application. Now you're going to have an application. So they took off issuing the ballots for ballots by mail. I have a problem with this. I have a serious problem with this. And the big problem is this. There is no extra funding given to the cities and towns' election commissions for doing all the work on handling the ballots by mail. They took that part of the bill out of the equation. And it's the Democrats that want this. And people are saying that there's going to be a lot of voter fraud with it. I don't know. Will there be? Who knows? But it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out.
But now we have time to get into what we hit the front page again, didn't we?
Yes, we did. 31 arrests.
Woo-hoo, 31. And why? And they're coming from where, CJ?
Boston. It's the NOBO gang.
Well, I don't know what that stands for, but
Norbert, Olson, and Bob, I think it was. That's the name of the gang.
Wow, that's not a very inventive name, but that's okay. All right. I don't know. Oh, well, but they're drug dealers, and where are they dealing the drugs?
They're dealing them all over. They're dealing them in Boston. They're dealing them in New Bedford. They're dealing them in Fall River.
Why, CJ? Why did they come to Fall River? Because where do they send all the junkies?
Right to Fall River.
They have what they call a target-rich environment.
That's it.
Because they know there's plenty of customers in this area, and they remain in this area, so they got to bring the product to where they lose some customers from the Boston area that get sent down here, and then they remain down here because of the easy access to drugs.
Well, one of the things that I noticed in this was that these these drug dealers and gang members all had guns. They were able to track the guns back to some murders, recent murders, even in New Bedford and elsewhere. And when we start looking at this, I remember when we had a mayor who turned around and said Fall River doesn't have a gang problem. You remember that mayor? Remember that mayor who said that?
I remember that, Mayor. As a matter of fact, his parents and he grew up next door to me. He grew up in the next yard.
Right. So, I mean, it's interesting to see now all of a sudden we've got this major problem. Now, my question is this. Was the Fall River Police Department involved in these takedowns? Because they're federal takedowns. This is federal. This isn't state. This was federal. I know that the state police were involved. I know that sheriffs from Norfolk and Plymouth County was involved, but Bristol County wasn't involved, which I find really funny. But then I found out that Tommy Hodgson was in Washington yesterday signing with the president signing an executive order regarding chokeholds and police brutality. So it's interesting to see. But
looking for the camera. but no, but here again, CJ, here we go. Let's look at this. They tied the murders, of course, drugs, murder, it all goes hand in hand. Crime, breaking and entering to get money for drugs, drug dealers killing each other over turf. Well, remember the lunacy of the two alternate universes we have. The left wing nut universe where they want to eliminate police. But then I haven't heard one person during this entire dialogue ever say, what are we going to do when we have a school shooting? Are we going to call the social workers?
Well, and as you said, this is
we're going to have a police department and we're going to defund them and cut them and make them a bare bones police department. And then we're going to have to respond to things like school shootings. We're going to have, you think this drug, whatever, what is it, knob or whatever?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, whatever. A gang by any other name is still a gang, and a drug dealers by any other name is still drug dealers. But the reality is, you think they're going to stop dealing drugs when there's less police? They're going to deal more drugs. The police have a difficult enough time handling what they got. They don't have the resources now, and everybody's yelling to get rid of police departments, get rid of prisons and stuff. So where are you going to put these guys? Just let them run loose?
I guess so.
How long is it going to take? So look, I'm totally exasperated with the whole situation. We have a double standard in this country. We have a standard for the left wing. They can say or do anything they want, and people who want to say that everybody's life matters, peace and tranquility should be for everyone, then you're going to get fired from your job on the editorial board, or they're firing anybody in the media who has the audacity to voice an opinion other than theirs.
True.
That is not America. That
True.
is Red China, and that is Russia, not America.
Oh, well, we were told to move to Russia. We were told to move to Russia. But we're down to the last minute. We're down to the last minute, and you said something about a target-rich environment. That's why Star wants to expand their services. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for inviting us into your home. You have a great day, and remember, stay angry and stay safe.